for science.
In this mug is milk. In this mug is water. Both of them contain Swiss Miss hot chocolate mix. Hello everyone and welcome to Monday. A few days ago on the vlog we did a little science experiment because for the longest time we've been kind of having a debate in the house about the best way to make hot chocolate. Mal was extremely adamant that you had to use milk, that it was so far above and beyond making hot chocolate with water that it wasn't even close. I was adamant that it might be better, it might be richer, but it was so comparable that it wasn't worth doing. It wasn't worth wasting the milk when you could use the milk for other things. And we tested this, and we had a kind of a fancier hot chocolate mix that on the mix it says that it requires milk. And using milk and using water, well, it led to Mal being correct. It was true. It was so much worse with the water that it didn't even taste anywhere close to the same. But that isn't extremely conclusive because I grew up drinking hot chocolate and I know that we made it with water and it didn't taste like that. It didn't taste disgusting. Mal pointed out the fact that perhaps the reason was that if you're using packets like this, which we did, I'm sure a lot of you grew up drinking Swiss Miss as well, these things actually contain milk. And on the back, it says in little text back here, contains milk. It also says to use water, although it says you can use milk as well. So here is the next version of this hot chocolate test. This is hot chocolate test version 2. What we're doing is we're going to use this mix with milk and water and see if that is that different, because that way I won't feel like I'm completely crazy. It's true that the fancier hot chocolate mix that doesn't contain milk in it requires milk. If you use water with that stuff, it's really bad. Although the inverse is that if you use milk, it's really, really good. I'm curious if using milk makes a big difference with this, because this was my childhood. I know we used water, and I had a good childhood. I drank hot chocolate, and it was good. So we're going to try it. I'm not going to tell Mal which is which. I'm going to have her close her eyes, because there's not a huge color difference, but there's like a little color difference. And we'll see if she can tell, and then I'll do the exact same experiment. You got your eyes closed?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm going to sit these in front of you. And let me turn the handles both directions. And I'm just going to let you choose whichever one. You've got one on your left and one on your right. So this would be your...
Is this left?
That would be your left.
Okay.
So why don't you start with that and tell me what you think.
It's hot.
Well, yes, it's hot chocolate.
This one's milk.
Okay, you think that one's milk.
Let me try the other one again, but I'm pretty sure that one's milk.
But you're not as sure as the last test.
Yeah, that was real obvious. This is water.
How sure are you?
Very sure.
Are you wavering at all?
No, this one with milk.
Okay. You're right. You're right.
Yay.
That is milk. Mm-hmm. The one on your left is water. But it was closer, you said.
It was closer.
Okay. I'm gonna run the same experiment on myself. Okay. Now for the other one. Okay. This one's water. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. But you're right. It's closer. It is closer. It is harder to tell. The addition of that powdered milk that is in the mix actually makes a huge difference. So this drink right here, this Swiss Miss with water, is reflective of my childhood. This is often, what we would drink whenever we were drinking hot chocolate, and it's good. They are different. They're different enough that you can identify it. I think anyone could identify it, but it's not huge. And I think the biggest thing is that this has a milk taste that occurs at the end, is how I'm going to say that. Like, when you first put this, and you notice this more because I had the milk first, I think. When you put that one, when you put the water one in your mouth, it tastes like chocolate water. And then as it's going down, it almost coats your mouth in just this slight velvety feel of milk. When you taste the milk-based one, that velvety feel
is throughout.
It's the first thing you taste.
Unlike the other mix where it was like straight up chocolate water.
Yeah. So this is interesting. I think this is a good, follow up to that first video, because this helps solidify a few things. For one, it's not as straightforward as you may think. It's not that water with hot chocolate is disgusting. It matters immensely whether there is some form of milk in the mix. I mean, if there is none, then it is
with milk.
then it is disgusting. You have to use milk in some form. But if you're like me and you grew up with the little packets, and that's what hot chocolate was to you, and you're like, I used water and I never felt like it was gross, you're not crazy. It tastes fine. It's just, is it smoother and richer with the milk? I mean, it is, but to an extent, that it actually may come down to preference here. I don't think that objectively the milk one is better. I think it's just...
I mean, I grew up in the dairy state.
I know.
And I went to college. My dorm was 1 block from the Swiss Miss factory.
I know. I know. So, it's...
That's going to influence me a lot.
I understand that. But, like, between the two, especially having had the other mix for a few weeks with milk, between the two, I actually think I like the milk one better. But I grew up with this, and this still tastes good. It still tastes fine. The other thing I didn't try, and I read a bunch of comments about this from you guys on the first video that we did a week ago. A lot of people said that they would make the Swiss Miss packet with water, and they would add a splash of milk. And maybe that's a happy medium. Maybe if that feels like, oh, I'm just drinking a thing of milk, and this feels too watered down, maybe that's the happy medium. Make it with water, add just a splash of milk, and then otherwise you're fine. But
that's also probably the milk fat in what milk you're using.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're a whole milk drinker versus skim, it's probably going to be different.
Yeah, for me personally, like we have 2% milk, so this is made with 2% milk. I don't know that I would want this with whole milk. Like, it's already plenty creamy and plenty velvety. I think if you were adding, any additional, milk, in some ways it'd be too much. I'm sure I'll have people that disagree with me, and they're like, no, it should be. In fact, there'll be people that are like, only whole milk. Okay, whatever. But for me, I think it's fine as is. But I'm fine with using water, as long as it's a Swiss Miss packet. But I
did want the marshmallows.
Well, and that's another whole thing, because that would add additional cream. If you had the marshmallow packets, that would add additional cream. It'd probably even be less distinguishable with water. The rabbit hole goes deeper. I think it'll be a while before we return to this, though. I think I've had my fill on
trying different hot chocolates.
Yeah. That being said, Swiss Miss is still a classic, but all of the other chocolate, hot chocolate mixes that we have are exceptionally good. They're really good. I appreciate everyone that has sent in hot chocolate over the past year because we've actually gotten a lot of it, and I've gotten a chance to try a bunch
You've
of it.
had a lot of it, yes.
Yeah, I like hot chocolate, man. I'm a hot chocolate fiend, and I've been making a lot of it with milk, and it really is exceptionally good. Okay, that's it. Hopefully that closes this case for a little bit, and maybe we'll revisit it in the future. Thanks for watching. Let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?